I get a lot of people asking me how we were blessed to walk away from corporate America in our early 30s. Well, listen, I don't want to keep that a secret. I want to share it with the world. And so maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to figure out, how do I even get started on my journey of entrepreneurship and getting to a level of freedom? Well, text the word freedom to 737 777 9909. Enter your information in, and we look forward to sharing some information with you. A proven system with small overhead, right? That you can do part-time, spare time, right from the comfort of your home, and have amazing mentors, coaches, and a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to support you and help you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 130. And, I'm sitting here, I'm in Buffalo, New York, spending time with family for the holidays, and it's just been amazing. It's just been a blessing to even be here, um, you know, but also to just be in a good space, right? I'm in a good space. I'm typically in a good space. I control that. You know what I mean? Like, we have a choice to decide how we want to feel and how we want to think, even regardless of the outside circumstances. So I'm in a good place. I'm excited, happy, and I got a chance to chop it up with my brothers last night. Shout out to Drew and Chris. And we had a really interesting conversation yesterday. And we were actually going to do the podcast together around that conversation, but that didn't happen. But I'm sure we'll make that happen in the future. But, I just say the conversation was great. And I wanted to carry and extend that into this podcast for you all, because I feel like there are things that happen in our childhood that sometimes good or bad. I mean, it doesn't always have to be bad. It could be some good things that happen in your childhood that have served you well, and it causes you to act a certain way that had been very successful for you today, right? But then there are also some things that may have happened in a bad way. Um, and sometimes when in a bad way, when I say it may not have been detrimental, but it could have been detrimental to you because of how you read it, how you saw it. And I'm not going to like go into all the details of the whole conversation without them, but I do want to just say, man, like, you've heard me talk about paradigms in the past on past episodes, and you heard me talk about the kid that knows 5 languages, and how some people will marvel at that, but to him it's just normal. It's just a way of life because that's what he saw, that's what he grew up with. So he may hear mom say something in one language and then switch into another language and come back on the back end in another language, and he understands them all because that's just what they knew, how he grew up. And to him, he thinks that everybody speaks 5 languages, right? Because that's just all he knows, right? So some other people, they may have grew up seeing a father doing something, being abusive to a mother, or they may have seen a mom or a dad that was a workaholic, always working. And in the moment, it may not have seemed bad, but long term, maybe it affected that child. And I'm just throwing out general stuff right now. Like it could be overeating, it could be um, overworking, right? It could be languages. It could be so many different things. Um it could just be even certain mannerisms. Like and I'm like I said, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. Some good, some bad. Who knows? But my point is, what we want to do is identify how we grew up and just start to think like some things that you do, and start to look at where it came from and why you do certain things you do. Because there are some things that we do and we don't even know we do it, and we don't even know why we do it. We just do it because that's just what we saw, that's what we know, right? Because when things are impressed upon your subconscious so young, it's automatically just like the last episode I did, episode 129. We talked about the conscious feeding the subconscious. We talked about the conscious marrying the subconscious and producing a child, right? It's the same thing we're talking about now. So this is it's interesting because this is a definite extension of that thought. But the thing that got into our subconscious so young, it's almost like we don't even have a choice but to play it out because it didn't even have to go through the conscious necessarily. It was just learned behavior such a young age. So so anyway, my point here with you all is that I want you to identify what those things could be. And it may be hard. Sometimes you may need to get a therapist, which, by the way, in a minority community, sometimes that could be a little bit of a thing, right? Where maybe you feel like you don't need to see a therapist. Listen, I am of the belief that I believe everybody should see a therapist at some point. And no, I haven't seen one yet, but I want to, and I plan to. Right? I just haven't really found the right one yet, but I would love to because I believe, and for me, like I don't know of something specific that I need to go see one for, but that's my whole point. Is that there may be some things that they can identify that we don't even know or we don't even realize that we do, right? And maybe they can identify and give us the tools that we need to create a better experience in our lives, right? I just think that's powerful because see, we don't have to just sit back and let the story play out the way it plays out. We don't have to repeat what happened in our child, our parents' lives and their parents' lives. We can actually identify and course correct, and we can change the trajectory of our lives and our children's lives because guess what? They're going to basically encounter some of the same things that we have if we play out what we saw or what we felt or what we heard or how how we lived, right? So it's just a lot of stuff there that we can unpack. And I just thought again it was a great interesting conversation, and it really, like I said, it follows up on episode 129. And I just want us to really process that. I want us to unpack that. I want us to review it and look at it and see. And I'm doing it myself. Like you guys know me, I never ask you all to do something that I wouldn't do, right? So this is about code freedom. And to be free is not just like financial freedom. There's several different. There's mental freedom. There's health freedom, right? There's relational freedom, right? And definitely in the coming episodes we're going to do a great job of shifting and incorporating more of those ideas with different guest speakers and things like that. So you guys keep listening, be ready, because I'm going to bring the heat, I'm going to bring the fire, I'm going to bring some people here that can really speak into your lives, that can be in a positive way. So make sure you share this with a bunch of friends and things of that nature. But again, I'm not gonna ramble on it. I said what I needed to say there, but I just want us to just think about that. Like really just sit back and think. And here's a good way to do it. Write down on a piece of paper some of the negative things that you don't like about yourself in terms of um, why you do certain things. Like why do I do this and why do I do that, and then just sit back and just on the other side of the paper, maybe start writing some ideas of maybe who you might have seen in your childhood do that, right? And like, oh shoot, now you can start connecting the dots, and you can say, hey, wait a minute, I do this, and I remember seeing this person do this, and they did it just like this, and this is exactly how I do it. And once you can identify it, it's a wrap. Now you can, uh, start to at least look for ways. If until you get someone that can guide you, maybe you can at least look for a study and just start to understand. Like some of it is just understanding, right? The Bible talks about knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, and we've talked about that on some past episodes. I'll try to put some of these episodes that I'm talking about in the show notes so you can kind of look at them and go back and listen to them. But really, really important conversations to talk about, really, really, really key things that we can shift. And look, we want to be free. We want to be free in all areas of our life. And this is one of them. So actually one of the biggest ones, because you know, it can affect everything. Have you ever heard how you do anything is how you do everything, right? So if you do certain things in one area, potentially it could be bleeding over into another area of your life and causing decisions to not be made. Like maybe you don't make decisions fast enough, or maybe you procrastinate, or maybe I don't know, I'm just making stuff up, like I said. But these are just ideas that we can talk about, unpack, discover, and get better at. So, listen, this is episode 130. So excited that you guys are listening, and I'm going to continue to enjoy time with family. But I had to take a minute and just talk to you all because I love you guys and just excited about where we're going in the future. Because, look, we all are going to be free, right, in all areas of our lives. So, God bless you all. Take care, take charge, and we'll see you over the top. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize. Who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value. And definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.